Okay, XJ project. What shall we talk about today? How about armor? Armor is critical if you're going to wheel your Jeep. I've added a few things on here myself. And let's go over those real quick. Let's start with the rock rails here. These are pretty simple. It's not a heck of a lot to them. It's just some, what do we got, 2x3 by 1/4 inch wall rectangular tubing. Just welded up a few mounts to bolt back to the frame there. Those bolt right through, right there. And then also, this probably ain't gonna pick up because it's so caked up with mud, but I've got some bolts going through the pinch seam of the rocker panel through there, and those hold it solid, like solid. At this end here, you can see that bracket is actually cut because I added in the long arm kit here after the fact and kind of needed some clearance, and I didn't bother to weld it up. There have been no issues with it. On the back side here, you can see those bolts sticking through that are bolting through the pinch seam. So yeah, those work really well. Right here you can see I have an air line coming in, and over on the other side, same deal way out there. Those are plumbed back to a manifold for my onboard air system, which I'll get to in another video. So that's those are probably one of the more important pieces of protection on this thing. The other one is Transfercase Skidplate. I used to run a factory one, but it doesn't offer a whole lot of protection, so I built this one. It's pretty simple as well. It's just some 1-inch square tubing right here, and that gives it the strength across. I don't know if I can pick it up. Oh yeah, look at that. I also added in these pieces of 1-inch by 1/4 flat stock on edge, just like that, to provide a little extra strength through the center. And then the bottom is just 1/4 inch plate, notched out here around the exhaust, and real simply bolted up into the frame. And apparently I'm missing one bolt. Not a big deal. It holds just fine. But there's supposed to be 2 like that. So that sucker is pretty solid. You can lift up your Jeep on that. When I lift the whole thing up in the air, I get, I don't know, maybe 1/8 of an inch of deflection on that. Right here, I put a couple brackets on for a traction bar, anti-torque bar, whatever you want to call it. Axle end has brackets there. It broke on me. I didn't use heavy enough material, and I haven't gotten around to fixing it and putting it back in. I've got some drill rod I'm actually going to use for it, and it'll be strong. That's probably a project I won't get to. So that's it for underneath. No, it's not. Let's go around to the back. So at the back end here, another critical area is the gas tank. You don't want to lose that on the trail. That would be bad times. So again, instead of going with a factory one, which are pretty thin, I built this one out of 1/4 inch plate. It just bolts up through into the frame rails there. And inside there's some nuts that are welded to a strip that you can bolt up to. So yeah, pretty simple stuff. So the tank's fully protected there. This sucker's pretty solid too. You have no problem dragging that over rocks. On the front end, I no longer have the little chin, whatever they call it, protector there. Everything's up pretty high, and with a lower Jeep it might be an issue, but when you're lifted up this much, it doesn't really do anything except catch mud and hook on stuff, so it's gone. So, bumpers. Way back when, about 10, 12 years ago, I actually won a winch at a Jeep Jamboree. It's my first Jeep Jamboree, and I won this old HS 9500i, and that meant I had to build myself a bumper to hold it. So bumper's my own design. At the time, back in 2001, there wasn't a heck of a lot on the market that I really liked. none that had all the features that I wanted. I wasn't too keen on the whole 2x6 C-channel wrapped around the front of the Jeep kind of thing that was pretty much your standard offering back then, or what guys were making. So I wanted something that that fit a little bit better. You can see here the sides don't line up with the fender flares. It's because I kind of designed that for the stock flares. Those are TJ flares on there that I needed for the extra width with the wheels and tires. So the important thing that I really wanted was to keep a real low profile with a winch in front of the radiator. Cherokees are a little bit notorious for having high underhood temperatures. I think I may have alluded to that earlier in another video. So I wanted maximum flow through that radiator. A lot of designs at the time basically mounted the winch right up on top of the bumper there, which blocked up pretty much your whole radiator. So this thing on the sides there, I basically made it out of 1/4-inch plate. The main brackets come through right here, and those carry through to the front. The backbone of it going laterally across the Jeep is also 1/4-inch, and so is the winch tray, 1/4-inch. The rest of it I think I built out of 1/8-inch, wrapped around, boxed in. This is fully sealed off, and I can't remember if I actually ran plumbing into it, but the intention was to be able to use it for air storage as well, for the onboard air. Pretty sure I don't have that tapped in. So the D-rings up front there is just for holding a couple shackles. Those work well. They're good and strong. If you're mounting up your own bumper, make sure you get the brackets that come all the way back and bolt through into and including the steering box there. It makes a big difference for strength. You do not want to be bolting through just to these 3 front bolts here. XJs are a unibody. That frame is pretty thin. If you bolt through there and hook up a winch of any sort of size, or if you try pulling off it, you're going to have a 2-piece Jeep / bumper real quick. So that's the front end. Around at the back here, I built this as well. This bumper, again, for XJs at the time, I really didn't like what was on the market, so I designed and built this myself here. As you can see, it's taken a little bit of abuse, done real well to protect things. So I basically wanted to mimic the factory bumper with something that was actually solid, and so I followed the contours here on the side as best I could. And same with this, it's got a few angles on it that basically match contours of the old factory bumper there. So I got a somewhat stock look, minus the wraps that came around here, the plastic pieces that kind of covered up there. So the back bumper here, I built for air storage as well, sealed it off fully, and when I went to blow it up, I used a little bit lighter gauge steel on this when I built this. So when I went to blow it up with air, it actually bubbled up the top. You could hear it popping a little bit, so that was the end of that idea. Note to self, if you're going to build an air tank, use at least 1/4-inch. So on this one, I designed it a little bit differently than they did the front. The front was just a straight box of, I think, 1/8-inch. This, I think, might actually be 1/8 inch as well. But inside I've got some cross bracing that fits in there, that's welded in, that sort of ties this whole thing together and gives it its strength. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a whole lot different in strength than the factory bumper. So with those cross braces inside, that adds a whole lot of rigidity and allows me to use a much lighter skin for the outside of it. That helps save on weight. One of the other features that I wanted was to incorporate the receiver hitch there, so that it stayed up high rather than hanging down low. I hooked my hitch enough as is, so keeping it up was a high priority for me. Real happy with that. It's working real good. And that's it for about armor, except for maybe those lights there. Built these as well, much like
everything on the Jeep here. So one day backing up on a tight trail, I managed to smash, I think it was even the passenger side there, and I didn't even want to go to the dealer to see what those things were worth, just to smash it again on the next trail. So I decided to build something a little more stout. The light box is here. See, I didn't quite get that color matched up. Another thing I haven't gotten around to touching up. But I built these out of, I think, about 16 gauge. And then for the edges here, I used some 1/4-inch key stock that I just wrapped around the whole thing and welded it on, and that gives it a little bit thicker of a look and a little stronger on the edges there for protection. Lights are LEDs. Picked these up at Truck Stop Summer. They work awesome. So this is my running light and brake light. These are my signal lights here. They're almost as bright as I want. Then I got a couple little projector lights, real cheap, and they work great for backup, though they're about in need of replacement now. So I tried to cant things off to the side a little bit so it'd be a little bit more visible from the side, particularly for the signal lights. And these suckers are good and strong. And they give a kind of, I don't know, military look to the thing. So, I think that is about it for armor.